Hello. It says that I'm live, so if you can hear me, hey, it's Jason Eichmiller, by the way. If you can hear me, go ahead and type something or give me a thumbs up, comment in any way, just so that I know that you can hear me here. I'm checking my microphone, and it looks like it's on. So what I'll do is wait wait a minute or two, maybe even less, because it's 11 o'clock and we all got stuff to do. But then we're going to go over the topic of this conversation is going to be how a reverse mortgage can save your home, or if you're helping a family member or a client or your family members or your client's home from foreclosure. So, you know what? It's 11:01 now, and we'll get right into it. So, my name is Jason Eichmiller, and since 2008, I've helped a little bit over 450 seniors improve their lives, normally by using a reverse mortgage. And over the past week, I had 5 seniors reach out to me who were behind on their mortgage, which is a lot in a week, but I just get like 1 or 2. So I wanted to address this because it's a big deal. And what I've found when I'm working with seniors, when I'm trying to help them, is if you're a senior and you're retired and you're back on your mortgage and you don't do something drastic, if you don't make a major change, over time, you're going to lose your home. Here's the reason why. Most seniors who are in a position where they're back on their mortgage, they're on fixed income and they don't have a lot of other stuff, whether it's savings or investments or anything to draw down on. So whereas you, like younger folks, I'm 39, if you're still working, you can work harder. You can work longer hours. For me, I could help 2 more people. You could pick up a part-time job. But a lot of seniors, because of health concerns, because of where they are in life, they don't have an option to get part-time work. They don't have an option to work more because most of the time they're not working. And if they were healthy enough to get a job, how many employers look to give senior citizens jobs? There is something in this world called job discrimination. A lot of companies do it, even though everybody says that they don't. So it's really, really hard. Once you're on that train, you missed a couple payments, it's very, very hard, damn near impossible, to tell you the truth, to make up your payments. So if you're in that position, you've got a few options. What are your options? Number 1, you can sell your home. Sell it, move somewhere. Where you're going to move? You're going to move in with your kids? That's definitely an option. If your kids get along and you get along well enough to make that work, if their house is big enough, you can rent. Find some place that you can rent where the rent isn't more than your income. It might work out. It's perfect if you can. A lot of folks, I work with quite a few debt relief attorneys, bankruptcy attorneys, where if they have a client who comes in saying, hey, I'm behind on my payments, I'm having a real tough time, they'll put them into a bankruptcy. And what the bankruptcy does is the bankruptcy halts the foreclosure. It stops it. You cannot lose your house. I believe this. I'm not an attorney, but I believe you cannot lose your house if you're in a bankruptcy. However, that's a short-term Band-Aid. In the end, eventually, given enough time, the bank's going to get your house if the bank wants to get your house. So the option that I've been really successful with for the right sort of person has been using a reverse mortgage to not only halt the foreclosure, but to pay off the foreclosure so that, and again, it doesn't happen for everybody. I'm putting a bunch of asterisks up here. What we're going to do a little bit later on is we're going to go over a case where we did this, where we helped a senior and we saved her house. We're going to look at different thresholds, like at age 62, at age 76, and age 85, how small your loan is or what percentage of your house value your loan has to be for us to be able to help you. So you're going to get an idea from this whether a reverse mortgage is a reliable option to help you or not. And by the way, before we get too far into this, if you hear my dogs Lucky and Belle barking, I have a home office, so sometimes if there you go, Lucky just barked. If people walk by, or God forbid, dogs walk by, they kind of go crazy. So what happens when a senior is in a tough spot when they're back on their mortgage? They have so much stress on their shoulders. In fact, if you compare the stress level that a senior has when they're losing their home, you can easily compare it to, it's not far off medically, than the stress that somebody will have if their husband or wife or brother or sister passes away. Forget about the financial strain. The financial strain is real, but the mental strain is unbelievable, because you think about, what are they going to do? Where are they going to go? They're embarrassed. They're proud. They've lived their entire lives doing the right things, and now they're facing a no-win, or what they think is a no-win situation. So what happens then is they get paralyzed by the fear. You've heard of the deer in the headlights, that saying, deer in the headlights. It's absolutely true. What I've experienced is, here's what's going to happen. And it's because at this point in time, when they have so much strain on them, so much stress, their emotions, or their reactions, their decisions are going to be based on their emotions. It's not going to be based on logic. It's not going to be based on thought. It's not going to be based on other people trying to help them. What's going to happen is they're going to literally curl, not everybody, thankfully, but a good number of folks, they're going to curl in a ball. They're not going to address it. They're not going to get their mail. They're not going to pick up their phone. They're not going to ask their family and friends for help, because it's so hard. It is so hard to confront this. And just the people that I've seen that I've helped, and I also haven't been able to help, a lot of times it's because I haven't been able to help people because they're paralyzed. They can't move. They can't do something positive. So that's why it's important for us as folks who help seniors, whether your parents are a senior, whether you're an attorney, whether you're a financial advisor, whether you help them with their home health care, whatever it is, it's really important to pay attention, to know what's going on in their life, to offer help without judgment. It's so huge, and just and so brutally so important. So what happens normally in this case, and this is why this is so important, is I'll get referred somebody by an attorney or like their kid's financial advisor, and we'll get them on the phone, and we'll have a conversation, and it look like that. Like, sometimes we can't help, sometimes we can, but for the folks that we can help, they'll disappear. It's called ghosting. So they won't pick up the phone anymore. They won't get their mail. They will refuse to address it. I'll follow up and eventually help other people who want help, and I'll try to call them back a month or two later. And guess what? Their phone is disconnected. They've disappeared. They've lost their house. As a guy who tries to help, as a guy who has like a solution that can help them, it's very frustrating, because I know if they would have just listened, and it takes a lot of strength, it takes a lot of mental fortitude to do this, but if they would listen, they'd be in a better spot. So I'm like, man, I failed them by not being able to take them through. So anyway, back to the 5 seniors. That's enough about psychology of a senior. But back to the 5 people that reached out to me over the past week. Fortunately, I can help 2 of them, and it looks like we're on the right track. 2 others, I can't. They owe too much on their house. They're in too tough of a situation. I wish I could help everybody, but I can't. And the 5th one, they're kind of up in the air. So just going to depend. They don't know exactly how much they owe on their house. So that's like the first step, is how much do you owe versus how much is your house worth. So my goal here on this video is to show you, to teach you who can use a reverse mortgage to save their home, and also who can't. This will help you on your planning. And if you're behind on your mortgage and your things are tight, then take this information. But also, if you're kind of unsure, feel free to reach out, and I'll try to help you as best as I can, and give you the information. So I'm going to tell you about someone first who I just helped. Her name is Judy. She's 76, and she came to me from her son's financial advisor. And Judy lost her husband a couple of years ago, and she experienced obviously the heartache, which was horrible, but she also she experienced a huge income drop, because now instead of relying on two Social Security incomes, she's just relying on one. So she got her stress was through the roof. She couldn't make any logical decisions. She was a couple months back on her mortgage, and she was that deer that we talk about. Judy was paralyzed. She was a deer in the headlights. Fortunately, we had a position where we could help her. Judy owed her payoff on her foreclosure, including the late payments and all the attorney fees that they tack on and all that nonsense. Her payoff was about $100,000, and she owed, her house was worth about $350,000. She's 76 again. So we were able to, just running the numbers and getting the house appraised, we could help Judy. Fantastic. I'm so happy. We're able to do it. But then Judy disappears. Judy did not want to face her situation, even though she could be helped. It's perfect. All you have to do is go through the process, give me a couple things, and you're clear. Your house is saved. But she withdrew into the shell. So her son's financial advisor, such a great guy, he stayed on Judy. He had that personal, intimate relationship. He got her. He gently pulled her through the process. Probably gave her tough words a couple times, but Judy, between him, my little bit of help, and Judy's, deep down inside Judy, she was strong enough. She was strong enough to face the adversity, and she pulled herself through. So now Judy is one of my success stories, and it's so awesome. Judy, what we did was we paid off her $100,000 foreclosure, which means her house is saved on the front end. She doesn't have to worry about paying anything back again. She also doesn't have to make any sort of mortgage payments. In addition, we actually held an escrow account, which is called a LISA, lifetime expectancy set aside, but basically an escrow account that's going to pay Judy's property taxes and homeowners insurance for her entire life, forever. That means Judy, no matter what she does, Judy goes from a point where she's worried sick because she's losing her home, to a point where Judy's never going to be able to lose her home. Now, of course, she can sell it, she can move somewhere else, but that's Judy's decision. She does not have to pay $1 to stay in her home anymore. And of course, she still owns the house. So Judy is a success story. It wasn't tough because the reverse mortgage was tough to do. That was very easy. That was the easiest part of it all. But what made it tough was the fact that Judy had so much disempowerment and so much fear, and she really had to, it kind of took a village. It took myself, it took her son, it took her son's financial advisor, and then Judy, because you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make the horse drink. Judy decided that, hey, all right, I'm at the water. I'm going to drink. I'm going to take it upon myself to save my home. It's fantastic. So very briefly, we're going to go over kind of how a reverse mortgage works generally when you have a foreclosure, and then we're going to look at other examples. Judy's one, and I have two others. So when you're in foreclosure, we can still do a reverse mortgage if you owe a low enough amount of money or a low enough percentage. What we basically do, if you can qualify, is we pay off your foreclosure. That means, and of course it can be before you're in foreclosure. If you're just back a couple payments, the same thing applies. So we're going to pay off your mortgage. We're going to bring you current, and you're not going to owe your mortgage company anymore. You're going to owe us, but we don't require you to make any sort of monthly payments. So your mortgage is all set. You'll never make a mortgage payment again if you don't want to. Then for every single person who's behind on their mortgage, what we're going to do is we're going to hold an escrow set aside, which means in English, we're going to hold a separate account that's going to pay for your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance. And if you're in like a townhome, something like that, your homeowners association charges for the rest of your life. So that means, like Judy, you're never going to have to make a mortgage payment or a tax payment or a homeowner's insurance payment ever again. Take your Social Security income, take your fixed income, and use it on yourself. Use it to enjoy yourself. Use it to kick a little more money into savings. Don't use it to pay the mortgage or the taxes because you don't have to, which is wonderful. Now, the downside to this, I guess before the downside, Judy still owns her home. She stays on title. She has full control. And when she passes away, the house will pass to her kids. Then when the kids get the house, they'll decide whether they want to keep it or sell it. If they want to keep it, they just pay back whatever's owed through a sale. If they don't want it, they want to keep it, pay back what's owed through a refinance. If they don't want it, sell the house, whatever's owed gets paid back and the kids get the rest. The downsides to this, not everybody can qualify. Because we have to hold a escrow account that's set aside for taxes and insurance for the rest of Judy's life or whoever it is, their life, it's gonna be kind of tough. You need to have a lot of equity in your house. So how much equity do I need, Jason? You must ask. You might ask. So let me tell you. First of all, Judy, looking at her numbers here, her house was worth $350,000 and she owed $100,000. That's what her payoff was. In that case, we were like right, and she's 76. We were like right on the line. I actually had to cut a couple things down just to make the deal work, which I'm fine to do. Like save somebody's house. I'll jump off a bridge to save your house. But the percentage of what you owe versus your house, you can really owe no more than 30 to 35% of your home value. Okay, so that's if you're in your mid 70s, you can't owe more than 30 to 35% of your home value. If you owe less than that much or less, then we've got a really good shot of getting a reverse mortgage done for you to save your home. If you owe more, you got to look at something else. And again, if you do owe more, I'm glad to help you brainstorm or introduce you to somebody else who can help you. I just know that I can't. Completely honest, right? Now, if you're 62 and you have that same $350,000 house, it's going to be tough for you to get a reverse mortgage to save your home. Here's why. We have to hold this escrow account for your taxes and insurance from not just for a couple years, but from age 62 all the way through your mid 80s, which is your lifetime expectancy. So then if you're just 62 and you have a $300,000 house, we might be able to cut out between about right around $30,000. That's what we can pay off. So in that example, if you have a big mortgage, this isn't going to work for you. I told you, I promise I'll let you know who this can't work for. This will work if you owe property taxes. Let's say you're back a couple years on your property taxes and they sold the certificate. It'll work for that. If you have a small second mortgage or a home equity line of credit, it'll work in that case. But if you have a big mortgage and you're in your early 60s, this is not going to work. So just so you know, early 60s, we're taking care of a small chunk of your home's value. But it happens. I've helped somebody who had a $25,000 foreclosure on a $500,000 house. They just couldn't, their credit was bad and they couldn't get the money to pay it off. It's crazy, right? But what we did was we paid off the 25. We held that escrow account so they don't have to pay taxes or insurance anymore. Because the house was worth so much, we actually gave them a little bit of cash that they could use to put back into their bank account. So that stuff does happen. Now, my third and final example. If you're 85 years young, so in your mid 80s, on that same $350,000 home, we can pay off a foreclosure of about $150,000 or so, which is somewhere in the low to mid 40% of your home value range. Why can we pay off so much more? Well, if you're in your mid 80s, your lifetime expectancy is pretty short. So we only have to hold a small escrow account. Remember, also, out of the rest of the money that's left in, you can see that a reverse only takes a small chunk of your equity. We can only pay off a small chunk. The rest of it is your equity. And when you do pass away, that equity will go down to your kids. So if you're in your mid 80s, you can owe a pretty decent sized chunk of your home and a reverse will pay it off, which is just fantastic. I've helped a lot of folks in their mid 80s, late 80s, even early 90s who just like fell behind because again, fixed income is really, really tough to manage all of your bills and all of your expenses. So again, it's a blessing for me to be able to do this. So those are your examples. Hopefully you now have an idea that whether you're very young, 60 in your 60s, whether in your 70s, or whether you're in your 80s or older, where you have to be for a reverse mortgage to help you out, to pay off your foreclosure, to pay off your mortgage rates, to take care of your property taxes and homeowners insurance, and to really, Jesus, save your life. So here's the moral of the story. Going back to the very beginning of our little conversation here, stress paralyzes people. If you're not a senior, if you're somebody like me, if you're an attorney or a financial advisor or a CPA, or if you're a senior's kids, watch out for it. Ask questions. Ask them in a very nice, respectful way, because the last thing you want to do is push somebody over the line from where they're willing to do something to where they're so disempowered that they're just going to curl up in a ball and be a deer in the headlights. So ask questions. Let them know that you care. If you think that there's a big problem, if they're back on their mortgage, if they're back on their taxes, and they're having a tough time, and you know in your heart, you know that they probably won't be able to get current, they probably won't be able to pay it. Remember, if you do nothing, you're going to go straight down that slope to losing your home. So if somebody you love, somebody you care about, somebody you advise is in that position, then feel free to reach out to me. Or if you know somebody who who's very close, who does reverse mortgages, reach out to them. I don't care. Well, I do care. I like to help everybody I can. But reach out, discuss the case. What I'm going to want to know to figure out if I can help is I'm going to want to know the age, so the senior's age. I'm going to want to know the address so I can figure out approximately how much the house is worth. I'm going to want to know how much is owed on the mortgage, how much is owed on the back of the mortgage. And really the easiest way is just to figure out what an approximate payoff is. I also need to know what the property taxes are and what the homeowner's insurance is. If you give me all that information, then I can work up the numbers and I can figure out if a reverse mortgage will work or if a reverse mortgage won't work. And don't worry about inconveniencing me or anything. It honestly takes about 15 minutes to look at the numbers and give you advice on whether this works, whether it doesn't. The toughest thing about this is not you either qualify or you don't. It's not the process. The process is very easy. You've done this over 450 times. That's the easy part. The toughest thing about it is the fact that when you have somebody, again, who's in a really tough spot, their mentality is broken. They're paralyzed. They're going to have such a tough time making a decision to help themselves that we really got to take our time to explain and make them feel comfortable. But then again, let them know that, yes, you can do this, but you have to do this. And if you don't do anything, what are you going to do? Move in with your kids? Lose your home? Those are not, sometimes moving in with your kids is an okay option, but losing your home, I've never met anybody who's said, yes, I can't wait to lose my home. Doesn't happen. So please look out for the folks that you help, look out for the folks that you love. And also, if you are a senior, if you're considering this, or you know kind of what your situation is and you want advice, you have questions, I'd be more than happy to speak with you, to kind of walk you through, to help you. And told you before, I'll jump off a bridge for you. This is so important. I'll do everything in my power to possibly help. You can reach me. I'm sure the email address and website and all that stuff are below, but you can reach me at jasone, that's JASONE, at reversemortgagereality.com. Again, jasone at reversemortgagereality.com. And that's reality spelled REALITY. Sometimes people put in reversemortgagerealty.com. No, I don't sell houses. I just help people keep their house. You can call me at area code 267-208-0200. Again, 267-208-0200. Or you can visit the website www.reversemortgagereality.com. Always leave a comment down below on this video too. But anyway, look, any way that you want to reach out, doesn't matter. You'll get to me, and I promise you two things. Number one, three things. Number one, I'll do my very best to help you. Number two, if I can't help you, I'll let you know as soon as I know that I can't help. And normally it's pretty quick. I can tell within 15 minutes whether this is possible or whether this isn't. Number three, if I can help you, I promise that I will do my very best to make sure that your house, that your home is saved and that you'll be able to live there for the rest of your life. So guys, that's all I got. I really appreciate your time. I hope you got some value out of this. I hope you now know kind of who can use a reverse mortgage to save your home and who can't. And of course, any other questions, please reach out. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day, and we'll talk soon.